The last time Sean Rash and Jason Belmonte met on ESPN, it wasn't pretty.
What's with everybody? Come on!
Rash accusing Belmo of trying to distract him by crackling a water bottle.
Bottle, bottle, bottle!
It's pretty clown-like.
Now these two are set to meet again as the 2011 World Series of Bowling kicks off with the finals of the World Bowling Tour. Will tempers flare once more? Welcome to opening day in the PBA. The 2011-12 season kicks off right now from Las Vegas with the Geico World Bowling Tour Men's Championship presented by the PBA. This year, the PBA and the World 10-Pin Association created the World Bowling Tour. 8 tournaments held in 7 different countries determined today's final 3 competitors, and it was a tight race across the globe. Mike Fagan, Osku Palermo on the outside looking in. There's your 3 finalists, Belmonte, Rash, Koivuniemi. And thrilled you're with us as we kick off the 53rd season of the PBA. Rob Stone and the Hall of Famer, Randy Peterson, back here with you. And what a show we have to begin this season. Last year, Mika Koivuniemi, far and away the most dominant player in the PBA. One Player of the Year honors. He's your #1 seed in the opening show of the season. But before he takes to the hardwood, 2 of the best young talents the PBA has to offer, who, oh, by the way, just happen to be caught up in a little bit of a heated rivalry right now.
Go through it.
Boy, that's an understatement. You're right, Robin. It all started back in Chicago in the summer. But here at the World Series of Bowling, Rash and Belmonte have totally dominated. Each player making 6 telecasts with a lot of animosity along the way. They're going to have to face each other a minimum of 3 times on television. Isn't it fitting, though, that here in Las Vegas, the boxing mecca of the world, we get to watch these 2 young guns square off. Round 1 coming up.
Put up your dukes, ring the bell, let's roll. So Belmonte, your 3 seed to take on the 2 seed, Sean Rash, and the reigning Player of the Year, Mika Koivuniemi, waiting for the winner in the title match.
The 2011 ESPY Award winner for Best Bowler from Orange, New South Wales, Australia, Belmo, Jason Belmonte.
There's Jason and Sean exchanging perhaps an uncomfortable handshake there before we begin things.
I'm quite surprised that happened, to be honest with you.
Why is that?
Given everything that's happened for the last 4 months or so. Chicago here at World Series of Bowling. A lot has gone on between these 2 players.
First ball of the season. And that's a good one.
He is a 4-time PBA Tour champion from Montgomery, Illinois, representing the USA, Sean Rash.
Well, Mika Koivuniemi is your reigning Player of the Year and your #1 seed today, Randy. But if you're talking right now over the course of the last couple weeks here in Las Vegas, the best bowler on the planet is that guy wearing yellow.
Totally dominated the World Series of Bowling. Made 6 telecasts and missed out on his 7th by only 6 pins. It didn't matter what day it was, what oil pattern it was. Sean Rash proved that he was up for the task, that he was in shape, and he came to play.
We'll be seeing a lot of both of these guys early on this season. Sean hammers the 10-pin into the pit. Opening spare for Rash, and Sean very open about this burgeoning rivalry with Jason Belmonte. Says the activity between the 2 of them has actually helped focus his game, particularly on TV.
I think tension's a good thing. I mean, rivalries are fine. You have rivalries in every single sport. You know, the competitive nature in our bodies when we're on the lane is a different side of us when we're having a coffee or lunch or dinner. You know, the things with Jason, in my opinion, need to move on. You know, it happened 6 months ago. It really hasn't affected me a whole lot. And I told Jason the other day I need a little spark in my ass, and I've got it. and I'm ready to win again. And I kind of got a little complacent to where I was just getting there, but I would lose a little focus on TV, and you know, Jason gave me that little focus, and I told him that. I said, look, it's something that I needed, and I appreciate it.
That focus has been absent for nearly 4 years, hasn't won since the USBC in Milwaukee, the Masters there. Rash with the strike there in the second. He's made a lot of TV shows, but just kind of seems to lose that focus, loses that energy. Hence the reason he hasn't won in a while. Here's Jason Belmonte striking the first. Back-to-back opening jacks for Belmo.
And you know what's really interesting is even though both players have a lot of power, you can still see that they're polished. Very good at playing the lanes different ways. Look at the extreme outside angle here by Jason Belmonte. Obviously, with that amount of revs, he has to apply speed to the bowling ball to keep it on line.
We go south of the border for our oil pattern today, the Mexico City pattern. It's long, too, 45 feet.
It's the longest pattern that was used here at the WSOB. It's Jason Belmonte, rings a vicious 10-pin. But getting back to the players being able to play all the angles, you know, it's one thing to just hook the ball from gutter to gutter. These players are way past that. They can play in, they can play out, they can adjust speed, they can adjust rotation, and that's why they're the best here at the World Series.
Open frame with the 10.
Well, you saw him practicing 10 pins prior to the start of the telecast, and the reason is to make sure that the footing is good on the outside part of the approaches, and Jason Belmonte just gets up and whiffs.
So Rash steps up, bottom of the third, as you saw his arsenal right there. Whoop. And a balk from Sean. Not the first time we have seen this on television from him. I don't know if it's the nerves, voices in his head, something between the ears always seems to creep up when he's on TV. Go. So a double for Rash after that opening spare.
Yeah, he takes advantage of the open frame by Belmonte, and that's what all great champions do. He steps up and just puts 10 back. Just a beautiful shot there.
Rash's last title came in October of 2007, the USBC Masters in Milwaukee. Made 2 TV shows last season. His best finish, 3rd at the World Championship. There's another strike. And a triple for Sean Rash, the newly married Sean Rash. There's his beautiful wife, Sarah. And when we return, a very interesting story about their wedding day. Did you hear about this?
I have not. I can't wait.
Let's just put it this way. It was delayed a couple hours. Be intrigued. Be very intrigued. The Geico World Bowling Tour Finals, presented by the PBA, is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. By Budweiser, great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Jack Links beef jerky, feed your wild side. And by the USBC and its 2 million members. To find out more about USBC, Rob Stone and Randy Peterson welcoming you back to the Geico World Bowling Tour Men's Championship. We're in the midst of match number 1, and Sean Rash out to an early 23-pin lead.
Take a look at the first 3 frames. Jason Belmonte strike ball, and where he's playing just slightly right, a second arrow to start, wheels it out to about the 5th board and then back. But still, that's pretty straight for a guy that has that much power.
That's what they're bowling for today. It's the first ever World Bowling Tour Finals. It's going to expand next season. It's going to feature 14 events in 10 different countries. Austria, the Bahamas, and Japan are going to be added to the list of stops. Here's Belmo trying to cut into that 23-pin deficit. That'll help. So a strike after that open frame in the third. Belmo has taken these recent accusations very personally, going back to the whole water bottle fiasco with Sean Rash and events in the past, and he wants to make sure that his version of this story is heard.
I have a lot of people now accusing me of maliciously putting people off and trying to cheat by popping a water bottle, and it's not only disrespectful to me and my talents, but it's also very hurtful, because to insinuate that I would ever cheat, I mean, especially if I'm going to cheat and I put you off, I'll throw the bottle at your head to make sure you miss. You know, I'm not going to pop it before you even start walking on the approach. I mean, you know, and that has definitely sparked a lot of I guess you could say haters. You know, the ones who maybe weren't so brave to say something once upon a time have now come out and you know, voiced their opinion about me. And like I keep saying to everyone, if you don't like me, I do not have a problem with that. I really don't. But don't hate me because you think I'm a cheat, because I am as far from that as you could possibly imagine.
And you can see it from his expression. You can hear it from his voice. He really has taken these accusations very personally and wanted to make sure that he is defended properly. Oof. Now, the first real big challenge today for either competitor.
And he's looking at back-to-back open frames on the left lane, the 2-8-10. I've made it once in my entire career, so it's not something that, you know, you look at making. So this shot here looked like it was just fast and not a lot of hand in this shot. As you see the ball hydroplaning, it never dug in or grabbed the lane surface.
Good effort, but not enough. So his second open frame, and the door
Just rushing to the line.
gets a little bit bigger for that young man. Sean Rash, married in the off season. Talked about the delay. They had to delay the wedding 2 hours. His wife, Sarah's family, flew in from Arizona, and you know what they were nice enough to bring with them? Not a wedding gift, but a viral infection. Messenger just missing the 10. So the viral infection comes, you know, grandma runs through something, then it goes through grandpa, goes through stepfather, goes through everybody, and it finally hits Sean. And when I say hit him, I mean it hit him. Without getting into details, so bad they had to bring in a paramedic on his wedding day. So the paramedic comes in and they said, buddy, we got to get you to the hospital. He said, I'm not going to the hospital. So they gave him a little blue pill. Not that one, Randy, another little blue pill to calm down his stomach. Pumped him up with liquids and basically said, look, just give me something so I can keep everything inside me for 20 minutes so I can go out there and get married.
Wow, talk about putting a damper on the honeymoon, huh?
I said he was the most sober guy in the building, but he's able to get married, and I think the marriage is working just fine for his bowling game, if his time here in Vegas is any indication.
Looks like he liked this shot pretty well off of his hand, and then it looks like he kind of did what Belmonte's ball did on the left lane, which is just hydroplaning. So now it's a question of, is the oil moving down to the back part of the lane? Adjustment time, players.
Third spare of the outing for Rash. His lead is at 31.
Bury him there. Come on.
The arsenal of Jason Belmonte reads like this: the Marvel Pearl with the 9 hook rating, and the Outlaw as well. Leaves the 10.
Move back right.
Ball came in really fast with a lot of bad intentions, and it comes in just a pinch light and just absolutely wipes out 9 of 10 pins. Belmo needs to start getting a string together to get back into this match.
He's been working on a couple things with his game, as you see Belmo down 31 as we approach the 7th. He's been working on the pitches with his fingers. They've changed a little bit. Cadence in his approach, much more relaxed. Back leg, a big issue. Used to come up a lot on him. He's been working on keeping it low or at least planted to help his balance. Just his 4th strike.
And trying to keep his trail leg lower to try to keep him more into the shot at the foul line instead of popping up, rearing up, and overhitting the ball at the bottom of the swing. Well, watch his trail leg. See how it stays a little bit lower than we're used to seeing. When he really gets after it, he has a tendency to kick that right heel up in the air, and it makes him a little over-aggressive.
Rash in the 7th can't get them all to go, so he's now looking at back-to-back-to-back spares. So 3 straight spares for Sean Rash right now. And you heard him after he sat down last time. He was upset with himself because he knew he had a chance to shut that door right on Belmo's face.
It's an even 30 that he's ahead. No open frames yet for Rash. However, Belmo working on a strike in the 7th. You see max scores there. Sean Rash can shoot 245. The best Belmonte can shoot 225.
Oh my God. Didn't like it. Messenger kicks the 10.
Well, he didn't like it off his hand. I think he thought it was going to go high, and there's enough oil that's moved down the lane. Enough oil's moved to the back part of the lane, Rob, that held that on line.
So both bowlers now with 4 strikes. Belmo to close out the 8th. Oh, Messenger. There's a tomahawk chop on the 10.
That was just nasty. I mean, watch this. There's like a riot over into the 10-pin spot.
A 20-pin match as we go to the foundation frame 9th. Looking for 3 in a row. Big ball.
Yeah, and you know, I said it back a couple frames ago that Belmonte had a strike working in the 7th. Keeping in mind that 2 more strikes and he can cut this deficit to 10 pins. It's exactly what he's done. Remember, Belmonte can strike out in the 10th frame and shoot 225. Sean Rash right now is going at a 215 pace. Big shot right here.
That was close to being a 7-10.
All right, well, he's not done. With a spare here, Sean Rash can strike out in the 10th frame, and he'll force Belmonte to do the same, and we will have a tie.
Seems fairly appropriate for this rivalry that's been growing the last couple months.
What a way to start the World Series of Bowling. Possible tie. One of the most heated rivalries on tour. Jason Belmonte, Sean Rash, looking at 225 apiece. It's going to come down to who performs the best in the 10th frame.
Messenger drops the 10 in the pit. And Team Rash happy about that one.
Well, Sean Rash and Jason Belmonte are proving the messenger is your friend. Watch, the head pin goes to the sidewall, comes over, takes the 10 out, gets a little nudge from the 6-pin. And he needed that. He knew he needed that because if he doesn't strike there, Belmonte could have stepped up in the 10th frame and taken this match. Now, Sean Rash, one more strike, puts him in the 220s.
Five strikes for Rash, Randy. 4 of them have come on this left lane. Two, 8, 10. Advantage, Belmonte.
Sean Rash is going to try to get 2 here. That'll put him at 214. That would make Jason Belmonte get the first strike to keep him in it. He needs 2 to win. If Belmonte goes strike 9 spare, we have a tie.
A must-strike situation for Belmonte. Leaves the 10.
It's over.
Sean Rash
Sure, a great shot.
Belmonte will close it out. Frustrating end for the international from Australia. The American Sean Rash will move on.
Quite enough, I guess not. Oh, Jason. Thanks, everybody. Good luck to the last one, mate.
Great shot, man.
All the best.
Great shot.
.214.204. Sean Rash, your 2 seed, advances.
Great shot, man.
Two open frames by Jason really cost him. He's standing by lane side with Randy Peterson.
Jason, obviously a tough way to lose at ring and 10. And it looked like Sean Rash was going to run away with that match. You fought your way back. Take us through the last couple of frames.
Oh, look, I definitely don't think that ring in 10 was the thing that cost me. I think it was the early error. You can't be missing spares. And you know, and I'll take what I can from this and definitely try not to do that again. But, you know, I stood up. I visualized what I wanted to do. And if there was any criticism on that last shot, it was just a hair left. I mean, it just didn't quite get right enough to get the right angle in. But that would probably strike 99 out of 100. So, you know, like I said, I'm happy with that last shot, but well, not to be.
5 strikes and a 214, enough to move Sean Rash past Jason Belmonte. When we return, we'll get you set for our title match. 5 strikes, but only 2 after the 4th frame for Sean Rash, but it was enough to advance 214 to 204. And Sean standing by lane side with Randy.
Well, Sean, it looked like you were going to give that match away there towards the end, and then Belmonte leads the ring in 10. What happened towards the last part of that match for you?
Well, the lane started to transition as the oil was going down the lane, and the ball just wouldn't pick up in the mid lane. And thankfully, I got the first one in the 10th to force him to double, and he made a great shot. And that's all you can do at any position, whether it's him or myself. All you can do is let it go. And hats off to him for throwing it when he needed to. And luckily for me, I got through it.
All right, well, let's segue to something a little more fun now. How about you answer the more of what matters to you fan question brought to you by the makers of One-A-Day Men's Pro Edge. Jay Disberger of Manhattan, Kansas wants to know, what is the most important thing for an amateur to do if he wants to become a professional bowler?
Well, I don't know about you, but when I was an amateur, I just wanted to bowl everything I could bowl. I wanted to get as many competitive reps as possible and just feel the moment when you needed it for the cheese. Get your PBA card, bowl some regionals, see how you feel against, the Southwest, Midwest guys, and, find a way to make a tour stop. Maybe bowl the Masters or the U.S. Open where amateurs are allowed to bowl, and shoe it up and see how you do.
That's great advice, Jay. Take it from Sean Rash. Sean, best of luck to you in the title match against Mika Koivuniemi. Rob, I'm done down here. Back to you.
Up next for Sean Rash, that man, Mika Koivuniemi. The two of them met at the Brunswick Ballmaster Open in Helsinki in early January. It was the first stop on the World Bowling Tour. It was won by Mika. Sean looking for some revenge next.
This is December on ESPN.
He is the most dominant player on the planet. The only man to reach the finals of all four majors in a single year. The winner of the richest event in bowling history, last season's Tournament of Champions. Mika Koivuniemi. He is a formidable foe and one that Sean Rash must overcome to capture his first win in 4 years. Welcome to the men's championship match of the 2011 World Bowling Tour.
Mr. Mika Koivuniemi.
Earlier today, Mika presented his second PBA Player of the Year honor. He won his first during the 03-04 season. Wife and oldest daughter in attendance, snapping away, seated right next to Mika's opponent's family. How about that?
Mika makes over $330,000 last season. Pretty spectacular year.
Most of it courtesy of winning the TOC.
Exactly.
I know how much I work for the things what I earn, so it makes me feel really good, and it's, I don't know, it's just the force what drives me. I've been doing for bowling for a living more than 20 years right now. Last 13 in PBA. Before that I used to travel all over the world bowling tournaments, and so I know I'm good at that still. I still have a chance to win, and I still want to win, so that's why I'm here.
Opening strike for Mika.
Remember, Rob, in the last match we talked about what Mika was doing in practice to try to A, build a shot for himself, or B, destroy the lanes for the two high rev players. He would throw a plastic ball in one shot. The very next ball he would throw looked like it was sanded with lane screen. I mean, it looked like a piece of charcoal.
Rash, his first effort. Late kick of the 10.
So it's really going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Does that work in his favor, or does it backfire?
Yeah, you and I are watching during warm-ups, and we turn over our shoulders. We take another look at the Rash shot, and you just saw this orb coming your way, and it did not look like a normal ball you would see from the pros. And you're right, the charcoal, chalk, it looked like a combination of a sponge and sandpaper.
Yeah, and every time he threw it down the lane, it picked off the 4 and the 7 pin. And so obviously there was some some thought that went into how he was going to break the oil pattern down in practice and try to do something to give himself a chance. Obviously, he didn't feel like he had a shot at beating the two high rev guys unless he did something.
Well, it's worked. It's worked through one. Rash with the spare, Mika with the strike. We begin the second. Messenger will leave the 10 alone.
And you can see in the first two shots by Sean Rash, remember the players did get practice prior to the start of this match, and it looks like Sean's bowling ball is pushing longer and longer down the lane before it starts to make that left turn into the pocket.
Blast the 10 pin into the pit, back-to-back opening spares to Sean Rash. Rash with 4 PBA Tour titles, but hasn't won since late October of '07. And there he is, the big fin, major Mika Koivuniemi, 9 PBA Tour titles. Koivuniemi, his effort in the second, working off a strike. A little heavy on that one.
Stop.
And whenever you hear non-English coming out of Mika's mouth, we quickly assume he would be bleeped out if we were back in Finland.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet, and we are in Las Vegas.
Three, 6, 10, and he misses the 3. Open frame for the big Finn.
Now, Mika prides himself on being a very good spare shooter. In fact, a great spare shooter, and this time not so much as he flags the 3-6-10.
Four balls in Mika's arsenal today. The Mission Domination 250K with a 9.5 hook rating. Encounter, Omen, and Eruption at 7. We begin the third. Much better. There's his eldest daughter, Ida, in attendance. And I asked Mika, I said, well, how'd you guys celebrate your Player of the Year? And he looked at me with his heavy accent and said, graduation, Player of the Year party. So they had a high school graduation party for Ida. And then Player of the Year party as well. About 200 folks there. I think most of them were there for Ida. In a shocker. Rash with the strike there in the third. Well, I mean, the poor guy wins Player of the Year, and he has to cough up all the fun to his daughter, who's about to take money from his checking account to go into college.
Yeah, but, you know, $250,000 can buy you a lot of friends, too, Rob.
Yeah, it can buy you a lot of college, too. Rash saying he's been on a high the whole time here in Vegas for the World Series of Bowling. Had a great start on day one, working the Viper. Really loosened up his swing. Here he is in the fourth. Back-to-back jacks. Now it's time for the fast, safe, pain relief replay brought to you by the makers of Bayer Advanced Aspirin.
Well, it's all about the messenger, and there it is. The head pin goes to the sidewall and just crushes the 10. Boy, the only pain going on around here is what the 10 pin is feeling, because it's getting abused today.
Strike number 3 for Mika.
Much better shot on the right lane for Mika. With a strike on the left lane, he can cut the deficit to 1. Mika going much straighter than Sean Rash. Mika much closer to the second arrow. Sean is inching closer to that third arrow. You know how I know that, Rob? Because I have CATS information, my friend.
It's a wonderful system. Provides you with a lot of knowledge and information. Three in a row. And Mika's got that walk and that look where he's figured things out. His wife has seen that look before as well.
I mean, he's not like the same size or anything, but he reminds me a lot of, the nickname should be the Machine, a lot like Albert Pujols, you know, very stoic, that kind of that, not giving you a whole lot emotion. He just gets up and just repeats the motion shot after shot.
Lead at 1 for Rash. Trying to match the triple shot of strikes just dropped by Mika. Got it.
Right here. 6.
That's 10 in the pit, my friend.
Heard Sean as he walks away right about at this point saying, stay focused, stay calm. He's had a tendency in the past to maybe let his mind, his emotions take over his game in these tight, stressful moments.
This guy hasn't won since '07. I mean, it's been a long drought for a guy that was dominating. I mean, this guy won every show that he was on.
God. Right through the middle almost.
Right now, Sean Rash is really struggling to maintain his emotions. He's really starting to ride the highs and lows. He's getting too amped up. He tried to keep himself or back himself down, and he ends up pulling that shot. Good news is he didn't leave a split, easy spare.
Takes care of the 6'10". Sean remains clean. That's his third spare.
That was a good 2 boards left at target for Sean Rash on that left lane, and he knew it immediately, and you heard him. Now, Mika Koivuniemi, first player in PBA history to make the TV show in all 4 majors in the same season, looking to take the lead, working on a 3-bagger.
Come on! Hellbone! Courtesy of the messenger! Yeah, I'm excited!
Rob, stop hitting me. I've never seen anybody so excited over a 4-bagger. Watch this. Solid 9 standing up.
First of the year. And a fun one. At a big moment for Koivuniemi. 4 in a row. And now we go to the 7th. So Mika up 1. Trying to extend his lead. Looking for 5 in a row as we begin the 7th. Dialed in.
Looked like he went with a little extra air time on that shot, Rob. A little more loft to hold that ball on line.
We give quarterbacks so much love in football about reading the defenses, moving safeties with their eyes. These guys have to do kind of the same thing. They have to adapt and read what the lanes are throwing at them. And Rash with an adaptation of his own, a strike in the 7th. Coming up next week, it's the first step on the road to the PBA World Championship. Jack Jurek, your lone American, he's facing a slew of European Tour stars. Don Barrett, Stuart Williams, Oscar Palermo in the first of 4 eliminator format shows that will determine the finalists for the first major of the season. It's the Don Carter division of the PBA World Championship next Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Don Barrett, Stuart Williams, you want to talk about international flavor. Finish, England, America.
It's like Epcot Center at the bowling lanes. Rash to begin the 8th.
Yes! What a game left! Come on!
Well, 2 in a row for the emotional one, who now resides in Montgomery, Illinois.
1-pin match. Mika working on a 5-bagger. Max score, Mika can shoot 268. Sean Rash can shoot 257.
Six-pack.
That's huge there. Miko looked back on that and said, that's a great break. I got that one a little farther right than I wanted to. Hey, Rob, this just in Mika's speed control. We talked about his accuracy just a little bit ago. Every ball from frame 1 to frame 8 has been in the 19-mile-an-hour range, ranging from 19.1 to 19.7.
Which tells you what?
He's really good.
Since that open frame in the 2nd, it has been nothing but strikes for Mika Koivuniemi, 2-time and reigning PBA Player of the Year, trying to get this season kicked off with a victory.
Well, the speed was perfect, the location was perfect. And unfortunately, it's a pesky 10-pin left by Mika. He's in the 230s right now. Sean Rash with another strike will also be in the 230s.
First spare of the outing for Major Mika.
The strike here in the ninth, Rob, this match is all even. Now, the problem with the spare in the ninth for Mika is that Sean Rash can strike out ninth and 10th and shut him out.
Looking for his second three-bagger of this championship match. Wheel. And he will not have it.
Man. Got it in the swish zone, looking for a little love and didn't get it.
Doesn't even want to look at it. Team Rash. Faces say it all.
Anybody's ball game still. Sean Rash, the spare here, can strike out in the 10th frame.
Oh boy. Oh boy is right. He whiffs.
Okay, that one away. Damn it. Be nice if they could stay still over there one time.
We've seen it before, Rob. We saw it a lot last season, unfortunately for Sean. 10-pin whiff, and now he's in big trouble. Mika's already in the 230s. The best Sean Rash can shoot now is 224. He needs to strike out. Mika just needs a mark.
A good shot here. Never know.
Now the distractions keep jumping out in front of Rash. Here's his effort in the 10th. It's everything to drop there on the left lane. And that 10-pin spare, go back to that last effort, made 95% of the time on television by the pros. His eyes just seem to be picking up everything. Every little noise jumps out to him. You start feeling bad for this guy at some point. And Mika over there, you see him on the left, he knows about missing valuable 10 pins. Just see last year's U.S. Open. Second shot in the 10th. It's another strike there on the left lane. But that spare in the 9th. Not what his wife Sarah wanted to see. The Koivuniemi camp will happily take it.
If Sean strikes on this ball, Mika needs 9 on his first ball and this match is over.
So he closes strong after the gap in the 9th. All that's left now is a 9 for Mika.
Wouldn't move.
If Sean makes the 10-pin, he strikes out and shoots 236.
Unbelievable.
Mika would have had to have struck on the first ball and then spared. Instead, now Mika just needs 9 on the first ball. 9 on the first ball, it's Mika's. Anything less, Rash still has a chance.
We've seen stranger things happen in the PBA.
I seem to recall a certain U.S. Open last season when a Norm Duke was shut out and came back and threw like the last 4.
First title of the year goes to Mika.
Great shot, buddy. Great shot.
The Geico World Bowling Tour Men's Championship goes to Major Mika. And we'll hear from your winner when we return to Las Vegas. Bowling Tour Finals presented by the PBA is brought to you by One A Day Men's Pro Edge, a multivitamin with more of what matters. Welcome back to the South Point Casino and Exhibition Hall. The Geico World Bowling Tour Finals. The men's division wrapped up. Mika Koivuniemi, your winner. Here's your Geico Championship recap. Match number 1. Sean Rash strikes in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th frame. Jason Belmonte ringing 10. Late flurry by Belmo, not enough. Rash moves on with the 10-pin victory, and he would take on your number 1 seed, Mika Koivuniemi. And Mika, all business Strikes in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th frames. Sean Rash whiffing in the 9th. 237, 224 for Mika.
The reigning player of the year, coming off of a pretty amazing season. What does it mean to you to win the WBT, the first ever here in the United States?
It means a lot for me. I'm really happy that WTPA started this tour. I know it's the first year and it's going to grow bigger and bigger every year. But in history, I will be the first one who ever won this.
Mika, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
There can only be one first, and the first Geico World Bowling Tour Championship goes to Mika Koivuniemi. Coming up next right here on ESPN, we'll see who the first women's Geico World Bowling Tour champion will be. Koivuniemi, last year's Player of the Year, starts off this campaign on the right foot for Andy Peterson and our entire crew. I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. More bowling now.